we're going to talk about the outbound supply chain concept of sales orders to pick lists, request to pick lists, and how you go about processing that on the handhelds. One of the topics that always comes up is how intelligent is the picking that is included in Produmex WMS. Well, as with many things, that all starts in the organizational structure definition. So there is a controller in the extension parameters called the pick list controller. And this is for the different types of picking that we have: the ad hoc picking, the multi-picking, once we scroll down here, or general, which means it's going to apply to all the different methods of picking. Also for multi-picking, and also for all except ad hoc picking. So you can see there's a lot of different parameters. It essentially allows you to set a number of different rules, such as whether you want to force a user to scan an SSCC or a license plate as part of the picking process, whether you want to allow ad hoc picking from bulk locations or not. So whether we want to allow the picking from bulk locations or just focus that into primary picking locations. So there's a number of different, do you want to choose a dock on ad hoc picking? Do we want to have the express functionality? We have also, we'll talk about it more during setup, this concept of different ways of sorting and presenting the data on the screens using different views within SQL Server. But if you look in at the pick list controller, there's a lot of different functions that guide the way that the picking behaves on the handheld itself. So in addition to that, which is basically saying what needs to be scanned, what doesn't, whether I want to skip scanning the location as part of the pick, whether I want to automatically create replenishment orders once I've picked a location down to below its replenishment level, how I want to handle best before dating and FIFO and FIFO picking. All of that is controlled in the pick list controller. The way that the user is guided through the warehouse is based upon the travel sequences. So let me just go ahead and click yes. We're not going to make any saves. The travel sequences that are on each location. So as we look at each location here in the warehouse, in this example, I'm looking at a picking zone, the picking zone, each zone beneath that, and then the individual location. So it's travel sequence 10, travel sequence 50, travel sequence 20, travel sequence 60. So you'll see that as you're looking at the location codes, that's not what is guiding the travel sequence through the warehouse. It is the actual pick sequence or travel sequence that's associated with each one of the locations. So again, as we're going and releasing sales orders, it's going ahead and allocating the inventory in the locations, and then the pick list, when presented on the handheld, is going to dictate the travel sequence that we're going to go through in order to progress through the warehouse. So let's go ahead and enter a sales order, and we'll talk a little bit about how the process goes and the different options that you have within that process. So we're going to go ahead and enter an order for Max Teak. We'll go ahead and enter a few different, we'll look for some farmland logs, we'll look for some of these compressors, and we'll look for some classic over and under refrigerator glass. So we'll just go ahead and enter a sales order for a number of these. Again, we'll just, nothing different on the sales order itself in terms of the way in which you go ahead and process it. Again, any unit of measure conversions, any of that which is supported in SAP Business One is supported in Produmex WMS. Just go ahead and complete this, and we'll give this today's date. So again, we have nothing different in terms of entering a sales order. So I'm going to go ahead, and if I want to at this point see what free available stock I have within the warehouse, I can click on the Get Free Stock, and this is going to go ahead and tell me what stock I have available that isn't already allocated to a sales order. So as I take a look, if you remember, I had 40 of these under glass oven, classic over and under glass, refrigerator glass pieces, but they're all somehow committed. So I won't be able to pick those. So I know right off the bat what I have available and what I can commit to a customer. So I'm going to go ahead and add that particular sales order. And we'll talk about the way in which sales orders get processed within Produmex WMS. We do have the ability right from the sales order itself to create a pick list proposal and then go ahead and create the pick list right from there. So if you're in a scenario where you've got the need to go ahead and generate a pick list proposal, which is what allocates your inventory, and then release the pick list right away, I can do that right from the sales order itself. Or I have the option of going ahead through the process within the menu structure of Produmex to say, I want to take a look at all my open sales orders and create the pick proposals in the pick list right from there. So as I go ahead and take a look, again, a lot depends on how the organization is set up, but as I take a look, here's that particular sales order. You can see that it's highlighted when I have my the date as is the current date. So I can take a look. Here's this sales order, Max Teak. I can go ahead and see some information on it. I always like to make sure that people understand I have the form settings so I can move things around. So if I wanted to go ahead and take a look at that particular shipping date, I can move that due date. And if I want to move it right up into the doc area, doc number, right after the doc number, I can go ahead and do that. So, we get that same functionality that I have within SAP Business One I have here. I can select multiple orders. So if I want to go ahead and say I want to generate pick list proposals, this is again the step in which we are going ahead and allocating the material. So when we look at this and we create the pick list proposal, this is the reservation for the material. And if I wanted to leave it at that, I could. And then go into another part of the system and go ahead and create pick lists off of that. So depending on how you want to stage your process, if I want to enter sales orders and then I want to have somebody kind of allocate the material to the sales orders, they can do that in this step. If I wanted to have yet another person, perhaps a distribution center manager, go ahead and create the pick list. You can have another person do that. Or you can have it all be one integrated process through the pick list robot. So I can go ahead and say on these, for these two guys, I want to go ahead and generate the pick list. So I did that. And so now there's some pick lists out there. And you can see it's giving me the information that one or more pick lists were created. So now I can go into my reports. I can take a look at open documents. And within open documents, I have a number of different open documents I can see within the system. So in this case, we want to take a look at our open pick lists. So this may be the warehouse manager, and the warehouse manager may be making a decision about who gets to pick what, or when I want to release the particular orders. So again, depending upon your distribution organization, you can have multiple people playing multiple roles, or you can have one person doing everything and doing it all in one step. So as I take a look here, I have my Max Teak and in my Ascot Enterprises, those are the two orders that I just released. If I want to, I can go ahead and make a wave out of this, meaning that I can go ahead and have this picked as one pass through the warehouse. And so as we take a look at that, that's what allows us to do the multiple picking strategy, which is I go in, I'll go ahead and pick up this wave and I'll pick it all through in one pass through the warehouse. Otherwise, I would just go ahead and pick the individual sales order. So let me go ahead and do that. We'll show you how to pick an individual sales order, and then we'll show you how to pick a wave. So let's go into the handheld. On the handheld, I'm going to go into sales. I'm going to go into picking, and I'm going to see that I have a number of different open pick lists available that I would want to go ahead and pick. Now, from here, from this open pick list, I can go ahead and print a pick ticket or a pick label. or I can go paperless and just tell people to go ahead and work off this queue that's presented on the screen. So if I went 4173, I could either scan the label or just kind of pick on that particular row. You can see what it's doing. It's telling me to go to location B003. It's telling me where to go. It's telling me to prepare to get ready to pick that particular item. So I'm going to go ahead and press forward. Now I can either select a movable location, or so for instance, if I'm picking on a cart or I'm picking to a pallet, then I can, and those carts or pallets have a label on them, I can go ahead and say, hey, on cart, I'm going to scan cart 1. So I'm scanning that. I'm going to pick this order onto cart 1. It's telling me to go to location B003. I'm going to go scan B003. And it's going to go ahead and tell me to scan the product, which I have the barcode on. Now it's telling me how many I need to pick, telling me that I need to pick 1. It's preloading the quantity. I can have this be blanked out and have to confirm the quantity if I want. Once I confirm the quantity, I can go ahead and just tap on that, and that's going to complete the pick process for that particular order. So simple, straightforward. I now have those farmland logs on cart 1. I may want to go ahead and ship that right away, which I can do just through the shipping process. Or if I want to pack that out into another, let's say, container, I can bring that to the packing area. I can say, hey, I'm in packing area 1, so I'm going to log on. I'm going to go ahead and pull that cart up, and this is a different person doing the packing process. I'm going to go ahead and select from cart 1. It appears as though I have 2 different pallets or logistics units or cases already out there. What I can do is go ahead and say I want to start the new logistics unit, meaning I'm going to pack this into a new box onto a new pallet. I'll go ahead and create that normal SSCC, meaning I'm going to not have a master pack, kind of a one-to-many. We'll cover master SSCCs later on in a different presentation. But now that I can see what I'm supposed to have on this particular order, I can go ahead, again, this is all touch screen, be able to touch on the screen, be able to alter the quantity if I need to, and go ahead and add the item. So now I'm literally taking it off of cart 1. I'm putting it into this particular pallet or case. I'm going to finish that logistics unit. Now I can automatically print labels if I want to add to that particular case. And I can click OK, and now I've kind of emptied out that cart. So now if I wanted to go ahead over into shipping, I can go ahead into sales. We'll go to the shipping area. We'll say we have shipping 1. So if you remember, it told me to bring that to ship 1, the ship 1 dock. I can go ahead and select by pick list. I have these different pick lists that are out there for me to go ahead and select that have been staged over on that particular location. Now I can go ahead and scan the barcode that I printed as part of the pack out process. So again, this is a GS1 label. So we have some specific formatting, which is why you want to print it and be able to scan it. It's going to say, okay, you scanned that location, that case or that pallet. Now it's going to automatically go ahead and add the delivery note. You notice here after it adds a delivery note, it's going to go ahead and print a packing slip, and then you're done with that particular order. So again, concept is I do my picking. I go ahead and I can pick that onto a cart or take it directly to shipping and ship it. Or if I want to use a pack out process, I can go ahead into the packing kiosk, or I can pack right on the handheld itself, and then I can take it over to shipping. So very straightforward. When I get into multi-picking, if you remember what I created was a wave 4176, it's going to go ahead and I would use the multi-picking concept here. In here, I would just go ahead and I'd have the wave here. You can see 4176 contains pick list 4150 and 4151. I can go ahead and just select that. Now what it's asking me to do is says that I have these two orders. And these two orders I'm going to pick at the same time. So I'm going to identify different carts or different movable locations that I'm going to pack each order into. So in this case, I'm going to say that I'm going to put it into cart 01, bin 01. So I have a cart that has multiple bins on it. I can do that. Now it's saying where are you going to put 4151? Well, we're going to do it on cart 1, bin 02. And now it's going to go ahead and say you need to go and pick these particular items for these particular from these particular locations. So again, it's telling me the locations that I need to go to. So these are some pretty good sized orders, but let's go ahead and process through. So it's asking me to go to B003. I'm going to scan B003. I'm going to scan the product. I'm going to confirm the quantity, and that's picked. And it's telling me where to put it. So I'm putting that in C01, B01. Each one of these is scans, and it's doing a confirmation to make sure that what I'm picking and pulling from the bin location is in the right location. So here I'm just going to go ahead. I don't have a barcode on this product. I'm going to go ahead and select the product itself. It's going to tell me to pick two of them. It's going to ask me again to identify the movable location that I'm going to put that product in. So again, a lot of these are confirmation scans that you have the ability to be able to bypass if necessary. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and pick the product because I don't have the barcode. It's telling me how many to get, and it's telling me where to go ahead and put that. So you can see it's splitting these orders out. I'm going through the warehouse in one pass, and I'm picking these orders, multiple orders at the same time. So P01, it's telling me then to go ahead and grab that product. I don't have that particular product for a barcode. And again, I'm just going ahead and I want to go ahead and pick one of these. And it's telling me again which movable location to put those into. So as you can see, we're just going through this process and walking through the warehouse using the travel sequence. So that's the key thing, using the travel sequence. And if I don't scan the right product or pick the right product, then it's going to go ahead and tell me. So I need 700, 738. And it's going to go ahead and I need to pick one of those, telling me which location to put it in. So again, I have all of these bins on my carts barcoded, or my carts themselves barcoded, and it's going to go ahead. And now it's telling me, by the way, that based upon the location setup, this location needs to be counted. Again, this is a configuration that you can go ahead and set up, whether you want to have location counts happen as part of your picking process or not. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip it. I'm about to skip counting. Yes, I'm sure I want to skip it. Now it's telling me to go to this location and go ahead and grab this product. So again, this is a rather lengthy exercise we're going through to pick the product, but it's going to go ahead and show you just exactly what we need to be doing when we're going through the picking process. Again, this is the multiple pick. I'm able to go ahead and pick multiple products, multiple orders for the same group of orders that I've set up when I release the orders, telling me to go get 5 of these, do it, telling me what location to put it in. So again, I'm loading up this cart with the products that I'm picking. And once we have one more to go, so that's A01, 04, 02, I'm walking up to that location. I'm going ahead and scanning that location. I'm going to go ahead and scan the product if I have it barcoded. If not, I have the ability to go ahead and pick that. And then it's telling me to what bin on the cart to put that on. So now that is completely picked. And if I were to go ahead and take a quick look at my inventory report, and I was to take a look at storage location C01B01 through C01B02, I would go ahead and see the products that I had just picked, including the lot traceability. So I can see, and some of this is even multiple dimension product. So I get to see what I have. So I have complete visibility of my inventory the entire time. As it relates to smart picking, might not have been evident as we were going through that, but it was sending me in the proper travel sequence. It was sending me, in the case of any FIFO or dated product, sending me in a FIFO or FIFO type travel sequence. It was also selecting, depending upon the configuration, whether I should empty out a location prior to going to a location that had surplus inventory. It allowed me to go to the bulk location B003 because I had that set on. So there, again, all of those different configuration options that I had as part of my organizational structure came into play as I was going through the picking process. Now, if I want to go ahead and pack out, I could go, let's say I want to go to, again, maybe I want to go to packing station 2, and I'm going to pack this stuff out onto a particular pallet. So I can say I'm going to pick on the movable location here. We'll go ahead and we're going to pack out Ascot Enterprises. Now, this is the nice part. Okay, so if you remember, I said you could have in a previous video, I said you could have a packing image. So if I set up a packing image on a particular product, I can go ahead and see it. So I can verify visually what it is that I'm packing out. If I want to go ahead and just scroll through and tap on each one of them, I can do that. I'm going to go ahead and add those items. It's going to ask me for any serial numbers that I might have on that particular, when I'm moving some product. This is where I will actually run into a little bit of a problem, but let me go ahead and try to find that serial number by looking at my storage location. So if we take a look here, we're looking for the serialized assembly. So if I take a look at that guy and I take a look at any serial numbers, I can see that I can go ahead and take 1904, 05, 04. And so I can go ahead and scan the barcode. So I'm basically doing a detailed checkout. That's where I'm capturing the serial number. You notice I didn't have to capture that at the time of picking. So I'm going to go ahead again, select all, add those items. It's going to go ahead and ask me for serial numbers. Now, this is where I just, for purposes of this demo, I don't have the serial numbers in front of me, so we're not going to bother going through all this. But you saw the pack out before. I can go ahead and pack out each individual order, and then I can go through and ship that. So again, as we take a look at it, what we've looked at is picking of an individual order when it's released. So if I get out of here, basically the process is I have a sales order. From the sales order, I can either release things individually on an order by order basis. So using the buttons here, I can, if I don't want to use that process, I can go ahead and look at open sales orders, see the open sales orders to go ahead and release those, generating pick list proposals. If I generate pick list proposals, I have the opportunity at that point to generate pick lists, or if I wanted to use, again, the open document report to go ahead and take a look at my pick list proposals and then print pick lists out of there, I can do that. Or if I want to go ahead and look at all my open pick lists and go ahead and print those and do things like create pick waves, I can go ahead and do it at that point. There is also, for the record, for those organizations that really want to get automated, there is what we call the pick list robot. And that pick list robot will go ahead and actually automatically, on a timed basis, if we just go ahead and find the pick list robot, will, on a time basis, based upon the definition, create pick lists or create pick proposals. It will go ahead and use a SQL view to evaluate and sequence the open orders for purposes of processing through the robot itself. And it will be an automated way to also create waves and allow you to group waves on in a way in which you've defined in the SQL select statement. So again, you'll see riddled throughout, and when we go through the configuration and management administration video, you'll see exactly how some of these views that you see popping up throughout these different extension parameters can actually give the consultant the ability to be able to resequence, reprioritize, change the order in which data is either consumed by the robots or processes, or the way it's presented to various screens throughout the WMS solution. So that gives you a little bit about what the outbound supply chain looks like within Produmex WMS. Hopefully that answers some basic questions, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care now.